So here, I love this quote from Marissa Peer. The lies that other people tell us are hurtful, but the lies we tell ourselves are damaging. I'm going to say it again. The lies that other people tell us are hurtful, but the lies we tell ourselves are damaging. Why? So I want to show you guys here. So again, I cannot see myself in the video for some reason, so please let me know if you can see this. I'm holding up some cream. Can you guys see the cream? Please give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Can you see the cream? Okay. So this is just moisturizer, okay? So I'm going to take the moisturizer. I'm going to put it on my hand. Ta-da! Okay, now what do you see? The moisturizer is gone. It's just sunk into my skin. So my skin doesn't care if this is like $200 moisturizer or $20 moisturizer or $2 moisturizer. My skin doesn't care if this moisturizer smells good or smells bad. My skin doesn't care if I'm even allergic to this moisturizer. It will just let it sink in. And this is the exact same as our thoughts and our brain. Your mind doesn't care if what you tell it is true or false, real, not real, harmful or helpful. Your mind will just let it in. So this is why it's so important you're careful about what you say to yourself all the time, because no matter what you say, your mind will just let it in, like moisturizer on skin. It will just let it in. So don't let in those hurtful thoughts. Only let in helpful thoughts. And if there's something blocking you, then here's where I'd highly recommend working with somebody who you trust, who you have a good connection with, to help you remove those blocks, so it's much easier for you to let in those helpful, beneficial, healthy thoughts.
So Rosana has been a Canadian clinical hypnotherapist for quite some time, but the reason I like to reach out for her is that the hypnotherapist and RTT she does, yeah, it's worldly renowned, it's high quality stuff, and all the RTT practitioners I know, they've all got a really big heart, and they tend to spend a lot of time in this industry getting world class. So they don't just do weekend training, they actually have a lot higher minimum hours and accomplishments they need to do in order to be qualified as an RTT practitioner. So it's great excitement. I bring Rosana here today, and I don't have the full excitement of my voice being a little bit sick, but you're really going to like today's session. So she's been a mental health consultant in China and in Canada. So she understands how it works in and outside the East and the West. And she has over 7 years experience of counseling. So this is nothing new for her.
I think Adrian did a very great job introducing me. So I'll introduce a bit more about today's webinar. So the introduction, what is hypnosis? What is holding you back from living your ideal life? Overcoming your false beliefs. At the very end, we're going to have a guided hypnosis session. And this part, I'll also give you guys a short tutorial on how to hypnotize yourself. And, the more you engage and give during this webinar, the more you will get back, especially at the guided hypnosis session, where I would love to hear your feedback and what you want to hear in the guided hypnosis session. And then last but not least, some resources that you can explore on your own and the resources that I used for the presentation today. So yeah, I think Adrian's already done such a great job introducing me, so there's not much more for me to say except I specialize in helping international individuals. So for myself, I identify as a third culture individual. I've been living abroad for about 10 years now, so I'm quite familiar with both the Western world and the Eastern world, especially China. For myself, I have background in Canada, Holland, and mainland China, and Hong Kong as well. So I'm quite comfortable navigating all these different cultures. And many of my clients are quite international as well. So they're people who've students at international schools such as Ivy Leagues, embassies and consulates, and publicly listed companies that require you to kind of do a lot of business trips. And for many of my clients, they have some sort of a issue that stems back to stress. So, for example, I've worked with clients who have trauma, some clients who have phobias, clients who have PTSD and CPTSD. So for those who don't know, PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, and C for CPTSD just means it's complex, which to put it very briefly means you've had this stress, this trauma for a very long and extended period of time. I've also worked with clients just who have regular or quote unquote regular stressors such as confidence issues, issues with public speaking, issues with fear of heights, etc. So it all kind of steams and boils down to a source of stress. And I help them to overcome the stress and anxiety to attain balance, peace of mind, and fulfillment in their lives. So what got me into hypnotherapy in the first place? So for myself, my background is both in social related work, in education and in mental health in Canada and in China. And to be honest, I actually never thought I would go into hypnotherapy and become a hypnotherapist myself. But a lot of things, life tends to have its own plans. And for myself, I believe, life will go much smoother if you're kind of going along the streams that life has already planned for you. And what had happened to me was something quite serious. So ever since I was a child, I had this condition known as eczema. So you can see this picture on the left here. This is kind of what my hands used to look like. So I had very severe and intense eczema for over 20 years of my life. So for those of you who might not know what eczema is, in Chinese it's called 湿疹, and I'll explain that eczema is basically a condition on your skin whereby it gets very itchy and scaly. And a lot of things can trigger eczema. So I saw a lot of specialists, dermatologists, doctors in Canada and in China to resolve the eczema. And they said, for example, if you are touching acidic stuff, that could trigger the eczema to be worse. If you eat seafood, it could also make it worse. If you're around a very dusty environment, that could also impact the eczema. And genetics is another reason for why you have eczema. So for myself, many members of my family have eczema, and I also have an identical twin sister. She also has eczema too. So it wasn't very surprising that I had eczema as well. And the doctors and specialists and dermatologists told me, right now there is no known cure for eczema, so you will have eczema for the rest of your life. And all you can do is just learn how to manage the eczema. So that's basically what I did. I would put on creams, ointments, wear gloves and bandages, take pills. I would have to avoid a lot of activities. And I did the best to manage my eczema until one day I really couldn't. So I started having a condition known as weeping eczema, and it's pretty gross. Basically, what happens is the part that has the eczema in your skin, it starts to have pus, and the pus comes out 24/7. It doesn't stop. So I had to keep changing bandages. So it was on this finger, my index finger of my left hand. I don't know how clearly you guys can see it because I can't see myself in the camera view. Can you guys see my finger? Okay, good. Thank you, Rajni. So it was basically on this index finger, and this part, it just wouldn't stop. The pus wouldn't stop at all. And I really started to panic because my eczema had never been this bad before. I had to keep changing the bandages, and it really made living my day-to-day life impossible. I couldn't do things like washing my hair, exercising, uh, eating oranges, which is my favorite food, or my job at the time was in experiential education. I worked as a manager there, and I had to take sometimes hundreds of students out on programs, and we would literally have to get our hands dirty. So do things in the dirt. It was some of the stuff that we did was very manual too. And because of the condition of my hands, it really made this work impossible for me. So by that point, I'd already tried everything before. So around this time, I also heard about hypnotherapy and RTT, rapid transformational therapy, and I decided to try it and see how it would work. And the amazing thing is that RTT actually addressed something in the eczema that no other doctors had addressed before. So it's well known that eczema gets worse or it can be triggered by stress. But nobody had asked me, why are you stressed? What is happening in your life that is making you feel so stressed that the eczema is getting worse? And RTT did ask that question. And part of RTT requires that you go into a hypnotic state to dialogue with your subconscious mind. And when we entered that state, I found out that the eczema was actually part of my life. It came into my life as a way to help me alleviate the stress in my life. And ironically, it started to make the stress worse in my life. But originally, when I had the eczema, especially as a child, the eczema actually made my life better. So I know that sounds a little bit strange, but let me give a little bit background about myself. So, I was born and raised in Canada. And what many people don't know is there's a certain part of Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada, that is probably one of the worst cases for homelessness, poverty, violence, and drug use. So I didn't live directly in that area, but I lived not too far from there. So my background, my childhood, there was a lot of violence, there was poverty, and there was drugs. And, it's the perfect storm to create a very, very stressful childhood. And when the eczema came up, suddenly I would have all these reasons to go to these doctors, these offices, and have complete peace for maybe 20 minutes to an hour. In Canada, the doctors are very well trained in bedside manner, and they would speak to you in a very soothing way, especially being there as a child. They'll really be soothing, caring, peaceful, quiet, beautiful amenities too. And so as a child, I loved going to see these doctors. I looked forward to it. And actually having the eczema gave me a reason to be in these places and be away from the violence that I was familiar with. Another thing too is they would give me creams and ointments to put on my eczema. And whenever the eczema flared up, everyone around me would go, oh, okay, Rosanna's eczema is very bad right now. There's a health problem. Okay, just put her in the bathroom or her bedroom and leave her alone for the next hour as she tends to her eczema. And that was another way that I had absolute peace in an otherwise unpeaceful background. And it was absolutely amazing learning this about myself. I had no idea that the eczema was actually in many ways giving me peace. But my life right now is very peaceful. It's very nice. I don't need the eczema to give me peace. So ironically, having the eczema as I grew up and got older and had a better life for myself, created a better life for myself, the eczema actually just did the opposite. It would take away peace from my life. So in RTT, we were able to reconcile this and get rid of the eczema. And not only did the eczema go away after just a few months, it has never ever come back. So that was absolutely mind-blowing to me. And, since then, I've helped many people. I've become an RTT practitioner. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and I've helped many, many people overcome their stressors and remove their blocks through dialoguing with their subconscious minds too. All right, so here, I think people usually have a lot of questions about what hypnosis is. I think Hollywood has done a very good job dramatizing hypnosis. Here, feel free to share with me, put in the chat, or open your mic and say something. But what are some perceptions of hypnosis that you get? So for example, people will talk about, oh, I lose control, it's mind control, it'll make me just fall asleep or give you all my money. Or, you're going onto stage and someone's like swinging a pendulum and suddenly you're completely under the control of the hypnotist, right? I think this is the stereotype of hypnosis. Has anybody else had this idea of hypnosis in their head? Feel free to raise your hand or share in the comments.
I think
Yes.
I think for me, because I'm from India. In India, of course, hypnosis, everybody will think, they will come and talk to you, they will look into your eyes and they will take away your money. And it used to happen, people used to give their gold, like gold bangles, and just give it to some people. So, yeah, I still have very negative connotation with hypnosis. But thanks to Adrian and, the whole learning of NLP, kind of my heart is open. But anybody say hypnosis, no, 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 I don't want to be hypnotized, and I don't want to hypnotize. So I think I still have, though I know it is so valuable, it is so important, but still, the childhood word is still there, oh, I will lose control, you know yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rajni. And yeah, I think the story that you've shared are a lot of people have this exact same idea of hypnosis and how it's all about losing control. Um, and the very ironic thing, though, is so the first thing is really make sure that if you're seeing somebody for not just hypnosis, but hypnotherapy, you're working with somebody who you absolutely trust. Trust is the biggest core component. The second thing is make sure they have the proper credentials, and they're not somebody who's just doing this as a way to, I don't know, trick people and such. The final thing is, someone who is trained properly and ethically, they would never do this because if you get caught doing this, first, if all hypnotherapists, if all hypnotists did this, then it would just be a job, an occupation that's completely outlawed and against the law. So that's the first thing. Secondly, all hypnotists and all hypnotherapists would be millionaires and they would all be driving around in like Bugattis. That's not really the case either.
Of course,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's absolutely true that unfortunately, people do use this as a way to take advantage of others. So trust is a core component of this.
Yep.
Um, I'm seeing in the chat now that Natty or Nady said, "Put me to sleep with the pendulum." Lol. With that said, yes, it's true that actually I have used hypnotherapy to help people treat insomnia. So some people have sleep problems, they cannot sleep properly. Hypnotherapy is a great way to overcome insomnia. Um, some people who are very susceptible to hypnosis, they might fall asleep to it. But this is why it's important, again, if you're working with somebody and it's your first time going into the hypnotic state, or you're susceptible to falling asleep in the hypnotic state, like sit upright and make sure you're in a position where you will not fall asleep during the session. Um, the pendulum thing I think is quite funny. It's quite outdated too. I don't know anybody who uses the pendulum anymore. But again, I think in stage hypnosis and what you see in Vegas or Hollywood, they put that there more as a way to make it very performative and entertaining. So it's more about entertainment than it is about actually helping people. So these are two different things. One is like stage hypnosis. The other one is hypnotherapy. The other thing I do want to say too is actually a lot of stage hypnotists, they will kind of plant the volunteers in the audience. So sometimes when they choose someone from the audience, it's not a random choice. It's someone that they plant into the audience, and then it kind of becomes part of their performance. Another thing too is, about 10% of the population is more susceptible to receiving suggestions. So usually what will happen is stage hypnotists, they will maybe actually choose actual random members of the audience, but they will kind of test to see which ones are the most receptive to suggestion and then select those as the volunteers who they'll use for the rest of the performance. So just some things to note. Anybody else want to share their ideas? Oh, Jay has said, I have taken the word hypnosis out of my usage with clients and call it guided meditation instead. Yes, a lot of guided meditation actually does kind of put you in the same state of mind as hypnosis does too. And yeah, actually, I think that's quite smart marketing because, again, there's such a negative connotation with hypnosis that first, usually you have to overcome this barrier, this mindset before actually doing the work with the clients. Um, yeah, I do think RTT is also a good name for it. So RTT includes not just hypnotherapy, but also cognitive behavioral therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, so NLP as well, psychotherapy, and parts of like the latest neuroscience, and also a lot of mindfulness too. So yeah, I think RTT is a pretty good name for it, and guided meditation is like another pretty good name for it too. Good. Anybody else want to share?
Hello, teacher. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Honey.
This is Sunny. Yeah, for this today's topic, the hypnosis. For me, I'm not familiar with it, but for the meditation or something, before my friend share some experience to me. For hypnosis, I just watch when I watch TV drama. For example, you said Hollywood the movie, then I can saw the content about the hypnosis. But
Yeah.
sometimes when I saw the movie about this, then the guide lead the person fall to fall asleep. But sometimes I find that if I'm the person, I can't follow the guide to fall asleep. So I'm very interested in this kind of thing because when I watch movie, I find that if I am the patient, I can't fall asleep by the guidance, some the words or sentence, I can't. So yeah, today I want to learn from you and to get some solution why they can fall
Sure.
asleep quickly. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Sunny. And as I mentioned before, about 10% of the population is more receptive to suggestion. And some people, it's like a spectrum of very receptive and not very receptive, and, everyone in between too. And some people, if they're very, very receptive to suggestion, they're more easily able to fall asleep if that's what they're being guided towards. Again, this is why, as I mentioned to Rajni before, this is why trust is so important. If it's somebody who you feel skeptical about, you don't feel very safe with, you don't trust that much, already, you're kind of, your walls are up, you feel more defensive, you're less likely to fall asleep because you don't feel as safe enough to fall asleep too. So the most important thing I really think is having a very trusting relationship with somebody, working with somebody you really trust too, and from there everything will be much more smooth. Finally, something I really want to say is in proper hypnotherapy, and working with the right hypnotherapist or RTT practitioner or NLP too, I'm sure, is working with somebody who is able to use these tools as a way to help you feel more in control. So hypnosis is not about losing control. It's not about falling asleep. It's actually about waking up to your full potential because you are able to directly dialogue and influence your subconscious mind. So much of our behaviors and thoughts are influenced by our subconscious mind. But imagine if you're able to actually dialogue with your subconscious mind, influence it, change it, so that you have updated programming to actually make your life more fulfilling. Some people, their subconscious mind, I'm going to explore more of this later in the presentation, but what if, for many people, they and their subconscious mind are kind of like battling. You're constantly battling to not be lazy. You're battling to not self-sabotage. You're battling to give yourself confidence. And your subconscious mind maybe is saying words like, oh, you suck. Oh, you're not very good at this. How could you do this? And then you have to consciously fight your subconscious mind. No, I can do this. I'm amazing. I can do this. What if, though, you're able to dialogue and change the wiring in your subconscious mind so everything's smooth and you consciously and subconsciously, your brain are friends. So instead of fighting each other, you guys are friends and everything will go much more smoothly and much faster. So proper, in my opinion, proper, healthy, good hypnotherapy and RTT, and I'm sure NLP is a lot like this too, you're able to wake up to your potential. You're able to become friends with your subconscious mind. You're able to actually have greater awareness and greater control of yourself. Okay, so thank you so much for, sounds like having a cheat sheet. I would love it. Yes, yes. So today's presentation is all about this, and I'm more than happy to share this presentation with you guys afterwards too. So you guys can refer to this and feel free to contact me with if you have any more questions later as well. Today we only have about an hour and a half, so I really want to respect the time. Okay, so I'm on this slide. I'm sure you guys have already read it, but I'm just going to go over it very quickly. What is hypnosis? So David Spiegel, he's one of the top professors, associates, and chairs at Stanford School of Medicine. And he describes hypnosis as the oldest Western form of psychotherapy. So hypnosis has been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And we've used it before psychotherapy even became a thing. And psychoanalysis was from Freud a few hundred years ago. Hypnotherapy has been around much, much longer. And it's a very, very powerful means of changing the way we use and control our minds to control perception and our bodies. So, you know, my story with hypnotherapy, it helped me to attain a better relationship with my body too. Someone else, David Godot. So again, a very prominent psychologist, president at APA. So APA, if you guys do not know, is the American Psychology Association. And he said that over the past few decades, there have been tremendous advances in understanding hypnosis and its benefit for research and practice. So they've been doing more and more studies in neuroscience to see how does your brain change when you're in the hypnotic state. And they found that people who enter the hypnotic state, first, you're more relaxed. Second, you're much more receptive to suggestion. So you bypass the critical factor of your brain. And how is this helpful? So for example, let's say you're doing regular talk therapy, psychotherapy. Generally, you're dialoguing in a conscious way. And sometimes the biggest block is you have a very big critical voice in your brain saying, this will never work out. Okay, sure, it'll work for other people, but it will not work for me. Okay, this person was able to overcome this, but can I really overcome this? Okay, let me try. So as I was saying, it's like your subconscious brain and your conscious brain constantly battling each other, right? When you're in the hypnotic state, actually you're able to bypass this critical factor in your brain and directly obtain this new blueprint for your subconscious mind that you would want. And clinical hypnosis, there's a lot of studies. I can share these with you guys later if you want to, but the papers are quite boring to read, to be honest, but they are fascinating. So I can share this with you guys later, but clinical hypnosis has been very good for pain management, anxiety, depression, sleep. People will use this when they're at the dentist's office. There's also been studies that shown that hypnosis has also been helpful for cancer as well. Again, not a standalone therapy, but a very nice complement to standard therapy for cancer. So Marissa Pierce, so she is my mentor, my teacher, the founder of RTT. She describes hypnosis as a way of directly accessing the subconscious mind so clients can understand what is running, their unwanted behaviors, and then become free of them through a process of suggestion that bypasses the conscious mind and the critical factor, allowing the mind to accept a suggestion it would previously have not accepted. So again, you're able to bypass the critical factor of your brain. So if anybody wants to share, what is something you would love to fully, deeply believe that is just so difficult for you to believe because your brain, your subconscious brain keeps saying, that's not possible. Yeah, it'd be great, but it would work for other people. It doesn't work for me. So for me, when I had eczema, a deep, deep belief I had is, okay, other people can have nice skin. I cannot have nice skin. Because, you know, I had the eczema all over my hands. I had it for over 20 years and it just kept coming back. I would have maybe clear hands for a week or two if I was lucky. And then the eczema would come back and I would just think, okay, other people are blessed with smooth, beautiful hands, nice skin. not me. And it was so difficult for me to believe that I could have smooth hands. And you guys can see now I have very smooth fingers. I love it. It's really nice. So, really take this moment to think to yourself, okay, what is something I would love to truly, truly believe is something that is accessible to me? Subconsciously, deeply feel this in my bones, in my heart, but I cannot believe that. Maybe consciously, subconsciously, I cannot believe it's for me. So for some people, it might be a loving relationship, a loving romantic relationship. Okay, other people might have a loving relationship, but maybe not me. Other people, it's, oh, okay, I would love to have a lot of money, but, maybe other people can have money, but I cannot have money. Other people, oh, a fulfilling career, a career that I love, that I would love to go to, that makes me jump out of bed every day. Other people can have this, I cannot have this.
I think mine is a very small one, but it's constant with me. I can, like, I lose weight, I gain weight. I lose weight, I gain weight. I'm always in this cycle. Even if I eat good for 1 week, I can see the weight is going away. But very quickly, I can go back into bad habit of eating. So uh, it means that I can lose weight and I can stay in that weight.
Wow, yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And you're not alone. So many people have this exact same belief. How can I attain the healthy body for myself? A healthy weight, a weight that I would love to have, right? For everybody, the number is different, but a big core of it is, what is my relationship with my body?
Yeah.
Yeah. How can I attain peace of mind with my body? Thank you so much for sharing. And I actually recently worked with a client who had exactly what you're saying. So for them, they kept gaining weight, and they would also go through this cycle as well, where, okay, 1 week they're eating very well, they've lost some weight. Next week, they're back to unhealthy eating habits and they've gained the weight back and more. So I'll share this story later in the presentation, but we were able to actually figure out, okay, what is the core false belief that you are holding on to that is also making you hold on to weight?
Yep.
Very, very fascinating stuff. Thank you for sharing again, Rajni. Natty, or is it Nady? Is sharing for me, maybe to manage a business. Oh yes, and weight too. So yes, weight is a very, very common one. And managing a business. Yeah. I think so much of our school system primes us to be prepared to work for someone else. So it kind of creates this blueprint of working for other people. And in order to stop this pattern, this cycle of working for someone else, we need to disrupt this pattern and create a new blueprint of working for ourselves. So, oh, Alicia is saying 100% true. Yeah. So, it sounds like you're agreeing to the what I said about the school system, maybe. So this is why it's very important what we learn growing up. Yes. So what we learn growing up, it kind of becomes our de facto blueprint in life. So an example I want to give with this one is, so I was talking about the school system. So, we go to school when we're very young. Different countries will start this schooling you at a very young age. So I'll just talk about myself in Canada. Because my birthday is late June, I started school kind of 1 year earlier than other people. So I was 5 years old. In Canada, most people start at 6 years old. And what does school teach you? So unless you go to a very specific or special kind of school, so if you go to more expensive schools, they will actually teach you to own a business rather than to work for someone else. And they will prime you at a very young age. So for example, when I went to elementary school, they would teach me, okay, you have 3 apples. If I eat 1 apple, how many apples do you have left? You have 2 apples. If you go to a school that's really primed and wiring you to own businesses, what they will teach you instead for subtraction is, you own 5 businesses. You sell 2 of the businesses. How many businesses do you have left? You have 3 businesses left. So already at a very young age, just the wording that you use, the language that you use, the way you think will impact the blueprint, the de facto mindset that you have moving forward. Okay, so next, I want to ask you guys, what is holding you back from living your ideal life? You guys had already shared some regarding weight, regarding owning a business. Another one I want to just add here is, for a lot of people, romantic relationships is a big block for them too. Some people might have the belief, hey, these loving relationships, it's available to other people, but it's not available to me. And just to go back to what I was saying before, with romantic relationships, again, we have this blueprint that we start to form very, very young in our lives, and it becomes kind of our de facto blueprint unless we learn to update this programming in our brain. And for many of us, we learn about romantic relationships and relationships in general from our household, because this is our first experience seeing other people, interacting with other people. And so for myself, I was adopted by my aunt. I didn't have like parent figures to look at in terms of romantic relationships. So I learned those actually outside of my family. But for many people who maybe you grew up in a more traditional home, so you had parents, many people, they'll kind of see their parents as their role models, their basis for a romantic relationship in the future. And this could be quite difficult if later your parents become divorced, or they're deeply unhappy in their marriages, or something happens in the household that makes you correlate romantic relationships to this incident that happened growing up in your household. Nady has shared, I think for me, it is lack of confidence. And Stephen has shared, the people around you usually holds us back from our ideal life, generally, I guess. Okay, yeah, thank you so much for sharing. So it's 2 different things. So I'll address what Nady is saying first. So I think for me, lack of confidence. Thank you so much for sharing, opening up, and being vulnerable with us, Nady. It takes a lot of bravery and courage. So I think just sharing this, it already shows a step towards confidence. In order to be vulnerable, in order to share certain things, you need to have a bit of confidence. I like to think of confidence as a muscle, right? You go to the gym every day, you work out, you grow your biceps. Confidence is a little bit like this too. You also need to go to the gym, you need to practice, put yourself out there. But a lot of it is a deep, deep, deep belief that you are worthy. If you really, really believe that you are worthy, then confidence, it's kind of like this inner cheerleader that's installed inside of you too. But again, many people will have some sort of block, maybe something that happened in their past that keeps blocking them from reaching their full potential, their full confidence that they could otherwise have. So we were talking about the school system, so I'll just go back to that as an example too. So again, I've worked in education in Canada and in China, and you really notice a big difference in how students' confidence levels become. So in China, it's quite common to post the score that you got onto publicly. So everyone will see your name and the score that you got. And then people will start to judge you based on the score that you got. Whereas in Canada, they will not do this. It's all these you get like a student code, and you can share your student code with your friends if you want to, but you could also just not share it. So people will not judge you based on the score that you got. Of course, people will gossip, people will find out, maybe in some ways, but it's much easier to control for this. And also the culture in Canada is you are not your score. But in China, sometimes you are your score. So the higher your score, the higher other people will value and perceive you. And if you have a low score, many times low score becomes associated with low self-worth, low self-esteem. And sometimes, having a high score, you would think that you have high self-esteem and high self-worth. But because your worth becomes so tied to this number, then you have this block. Oh, I'm only worthy, I'm only valuable if I keep getting 100%. And then this creates another form of anxiety because you think, oh no, I need to keep getting 100%. I got 100% this time, can I get it next time? And it's like this top seat that you have to keep fighting for. Okay, so Stephen, okay, more from Stephen. The people around you usually hold us back from our ideal life generally, I guess. We would have to take care of someone else's mind and acts around us, which would affect to carry our plans. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing this, Stephen. So it is true that the people around us can really impact our quality of life. And it's true that the people around us will impact our actions too. But something that's very important to also keep in mind is, you know, what do you have control over, right? Whether you like it or not, you don't really have control over other people. Maybe you can influence other people, but you cannot control someone else. So it can become a very stressful cycle if the goal is to, in some way, influence, manage, help other people. So what we can do instead is focus on what we can control. And what we can control, to an extent, is ourselves, but not even fully ourselves. What we can control are our thoughts. So I'll go into this more in detail in a bit. But if we can really change our way of thinking, so what I like to talk about is this exercise known as looping thoughts. And I'll put this into the chat. So looping thoughts, because I don't think this is in my presentation, but it is a very, very powerful framework. So your thoughts influence your emotions, which influence your actions, which influence your results, which then goes back to influencing your thoughts. And then the cycle continues, etc., etc. So, you know, let's take a very simple thought. Okay, so I will go to the next part of my presentation and you can see it. So 3 false beliefs holding you back. Yes, Jenny, change your thoughts, change your life. So I really want to focus on beliefs. So what are beliefs? If you break down what a belief is, very, very simply, a belief is a thought you think a lot. You think it enough and it becomes who you are. Okay, so one giant false belief that I find in so many of my clients is the belief that I am not enough. I am not attractive enough. I'm not rich enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not successful enough. I am not enough. And I want to go back to this framework of looping thoughts. So if you really, really believe that, you know, I'm not enough, how does that make you feel? If you feel like you're not enough, how does that make you feel? You feel heavy, you feel anxious, you feel down, you feel, oh, what's the point? You feel absolutely awful, right? So if that is your emotion, what does that make you do? So maybe you'll stay in bed. Maybe you'll eat away your problems. Maybe you'll just stay in bed and you'll watch Netflix, watch TV all the time. You won't put yourself out there. Maybe a friend of yours invited you out to a party, but your thought is, oh, I'm not enough. I feel so awful. What's the point in even going? People will hate me. And so instead of going to the party, meeting other people, you'll just stay in. And then maybe the whole night you'll just feel so depressed. And then because you stayed in, you never went out and you feel worse and worse. The next day you wake up and you still think to yourself, I am not enough. Yes, exactly, Nady. I feel stressed and I end up playing small. So this is what happens if you have this belief that I am not enough. And let's say, even if you manage to land your dream career, if you truly, truly, truly believe I'm not enough, I'm not good enough for this job, I'm not smart enough for this job. If you don't address this belief, first you make your beliefs and then your beliefs make you. So if you really do not feel you're enough, you will sabotage your success. So I've worked with many people in leadership positions who they sign this great client, they hire a great team, but very, very deep down, they still feel I'm not enough, and they will sabotage their success. And it's amazing seeing this unravel. It's really sad to see, but it's not uncommon. Joe Xinyi asks a very good question. Is this the same as imposter syndrome? It can be, yeah. So the core belief that could lead to imposter syndrome could be, I am not enough. There's two other beliefs that I want to share with you guys, two other false beliefs that hold us back. So I am not enough. I think that's the most common one from what I've noticed, and it's one that's very powerful in unraveling your life. And it's very powerful in impacting your actions in a day-to-day basis. Hey, I just wanted to go back to the chat and see what I might have missed. So Stephen said, I used to be impacted by parents and families or even close friends, but I got rid of that already and just focus on going forward as much as I can. Yeah, good for you, Stephen. You know, in order to move forward, we have to believe to an extent that we are worthy of more in our life. We are worthy of having a more fulfilling life moving forward in our lives. And I want to congratulate you, Stephen, because you're really working towards creating this better life for yourself. And, you know, sometimes that might mean having to move ourselves away from people who might not be helping us, but instead maybe are pulling us down, right? So I'm sure, or I'm not sure, but it sounds like it was difficult, and good for you for really believing I'm worthy of a better life and I'm moving in that direction. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next false belief. Are you guys ready? Okay, yes. So the next one is something is not available to me. Joy is not available to me. Peace of mind is not available to me. Love, wealth, owning your own business. Oh yeah, Jenny, this one seems to really resonate with you. I see all in caps, yes, in the chat. Yes, yes. So I'm really, really happy that I'm able to really resonate with you guys if I'm sharing this with you. So what does this do? By sharing this information with you, I'm hoping that we're able to take these false beliefs from our subconscious and bring it out into our conscious mind. And when you can see it, you can question it, okay? How true are these beliefs? Is joy really not available to me? Is peace of mind really not available to me? Is love really not available to me? Is wealth really not available to me? So to go back to what Zhou Xinyi was saying about imposter syndrome, some people, this is the core false belief that leads to imposter syndrome. They might truly believe, hey, a great career is not available to me. So even if they win awards for their work, if they really, really believe that a great career is not available to me, they might start to have imposter syndrome. I've worked with people who have imposter syndrome too. Again, usually it's the first belief, I'm not enough, that impacts them, but sometimes it is, this is not available to me. So, you know, when we look at all these different ideas of what is not available to me, which one would that be for you? Feel free to share if you want to, no pressure. But again, you know, when I had eczema, I really believed that smooth, healthy skin was not available to me. I was like, okay, other people can have really nice skin. It's not available to me. And surprise, surprise, not only did I have bad eczema, I also had very bad acne well into my adulthood years too. I also had like very bad like these skin bumps as well. And ironically enough, or maybe not ironically enough and not surprising, but after the eczema went away, a lot of the acne went away, a lot of those skin bumps went away too. Okay, so Nadine has said, I would also like to point out that you answered the comment about others' actions beautifully. We can't control others' actions, but we can control our reactions to it, or our thoughts, as you said. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that comment, Nadine. I really hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, please let me know. But yeah, you know, I think I truly believe everybody is trying their best in this life, in this world. You know, once people know better, they will do better. Many people, for some reason or not, maybe they don't know better, or maybe the way they grew up, their blueprint and how to function in this world might be playing small. And they really believe everybody should play small. And they believe playing small might be a way to stay safe, stay secure. We don't completely know why other people might behave the way they do. Sometimes other people don't even know why they are behaving the way they do either. So again, let's look at what is helpful. Disparaging another person's actions, maybe that can help, but just a little bit. What can help instead? Okay, let's just focus on what we can control. We can control our thoughts. We can try our best to control ourselves. If you spend your whole life trying to control other people, you know, it's just not possible. So it will be a very frustrating experience, a very frustrating way to live in this world. Josie says, totally. Also, I'm starting to be mindful of the narrative I'm telling myself. That's wonderful. Yeah, again, this is why self-awareness is so, so powerful. And self-awareness is also a skill that you can learn. Again, think about it like going to the gym. This is a gym for your mind. Self-awareness, self-reflection. These are all different ways of working out your mind and working out how you dialogue and speak to yourself. Nady, I never thought about what's not available for me. Maybe I feel like balance is not available for me. It's either running a business or having a happy family life and taking care of myself. As a woman, I find it hard to balance. Oh, very, very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I think so for me, my top 3 values in my life, and you know, this proliferates in how I run my practice and my business too, is balance, fulfillment, and peace of mind. And it's very, very interesting that for you, you feel that balance is not available for you, especially as a woman. What is your opinion on the causes of the I'm not enough belief, please? Wow, you guys are making very insightful comments and really, really wonderful questions. Okay, so Jay, I will actually answer this question later in the presentation about what leads to this belief of I'm not enough. So if I do not answer fully later in the presentation, please let me know. Nady, again, very, very good job self-reflecting on this belief. And again, I think it's very interesting that you label it as a woman. I find it hard to balance. So what specifically, you know, I think as women, so speaking from my experience as a woman too, many times there's a lot of barriers we have to overcome. You know, in career, women will face like a glass ceiling, right? And you know, if you have Asian background, such as myself too, you will also experience something known as the bamboo ceiling. So if you're like Asian female, you will get the glass ceiling and the bamboo ceiling. And bamboo ceiling is, oh yeah, like the premise behind the bamboo ceiling is, oh okay, yeah, Asian people, they're good at doing, but they're not very good at leading. So you'll see less and less Asian people moving up into managerial positions because of this ceiling. And for women, it's also like, okay, yeah, women, okay, they're good at doing certain jobs, but they can also not move up higher up in positions, the glass ceiling. So you can see up, but you feel like you cannot reach. There's something in the glass. There's something that is blocking you, right? And it's true, part of it is society. Part of it is the way society is structured. Yes, but how can we shatter this glass ceiling? Let's focus on what we can control. And again, we can focus and control our thoughts. And again, what is a belief? A belief is a thought you think a lot. A belief is a thought you think a lot. So Jay, just to answer your question a little bit of where is this belief of I'm not enough stemming from? What happened in your past Or maybe multiple things might have happened in your past that made you think I'm not enough, directly or indirectly. And then you keep thinking this thought until it becomes a belief. So if we want to break these ceilings, break all of these conditions that we unfortunately absorb from societal conditioning, you know, we cannot control society, but what is society? Society is just a collection of people, a collection of individual people. So we can change ourselves, then we're already influencing society. Or say there is no glass or bamboo ceiling. Yes, yes. Yeah, like I'm going to shatter that glass ceiling. I'm going to break down that bamboo ceiling. I can do it. To me, there is no ceiling. Okay, and the final false belief I want to touch on is the one that I am different and therefore I cannot connect with others. I'm different and therefore I cannot connect with others. So I worked with somebody before who, if you look at them from the outside, they seem to kind of be picture perfect according to societal standards. So they're beautiful, they're very smart, they went to a top school, they're very athletic, they can sing beautifully, and they also ran a very successful company. But the more I interacted with them, the more surprising I found that they would just isolate themselves. And they wouldn't directly say it, but you would get a feeling, oh, they're scared of being around other people. And this person, they had this core false belief that I'm different and therefore I cannot connect with others. And because they had this feeling, they started to act very socially awkwardly around other people, which is so funny. You know, you would think somebody who's so beautiful, so talented, so smart, you know, we're kind of taught, oh, if you're like this, then you'll have a Hollywood ending, that Hollywood happy ending to life. Oh, if you're this beautiful, you're this talented, you're this smart, your career is amazing, you'll be so popular. Everybody would love to be your friend. You can pick and choose whoever you want to date and marry. People will just love you. Not this person. So again, what you can learn here is it's not really what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. What's on the inside can do so much more to impact you than what's on the outside. The outside, in many ways, is just kind of packaging, fluff. You know, you'll see many people who might not be the most beautiful, might not be the smartest, but they're really good at dating, or they're really good at getting a great job because something is inside of them that says, hey, I'm worthy, I am enough. Wealth is available to me. I'm amazing at connecting with other people. Okay, so I want us to take a moment to reflect. Which one or two or three of these false beliefs resonate the most with you? And why? So here, I love this quote from Marissa Peer. The lies that other people tell us are hurtful, but the lies we tell ourselves are damaging. I'm going to say it again. The lies that other people tell us are hurtful, but the lies we tell ourselves are damaging. Why? So I want to show you guys here. So again, I cannot see myself in the video for some reason, so please let me know if you can see this. I'm holding up some cream. Can you guys see the cream? Please give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Can you see the cream? Okay, okay. So this is just moisturizer, okay? So I'm going to take the moisturizer. I'm going to put it on my hand. Ta-da! Okay, now what do you see? The moisturizer is gone. It's just sunk into my skin. So my skin doesn't care if this is like $200 moisturizer or $20 moisturizer or $2 moisturizer. My skin doesn't care if this moisturizer smells good or smells bad. My skin doesn't care if I'm even allergic to this moisturizer. It will just let it sink in. And this is the exact same as our thoughts and our brain. Your mind doesn't care if what you tell it is true or false, real, not real, harmful or helpful. your mind will just let it in. So this is why it's so important you're careful about what you say to yourself all the time, because no matter what you say, your mind will just let it in, like moisturizer on skin. It will just let it in. So don't let in those hurtful thoughts. Only let in helpful thoughts. And if there's something blocking you, then here's where I'd highly recommend working with somebody who you trust, who you have a good connection with, to help you remove those blocks, so it's much easier for you to let in those helpful, beneficial, healthy thoughts. Christina asks, any good books to recommend about hypnosis? Yes, actually I do. I'll share them at the end of the presentation when I have resources. Okay, so overcoming your false beliefs. So first, reflect on what may have happened in your past that caused you to develop one or more of these false beliefs. You can journal about it, walk in nature, meditate, talk with friends or a professional counselor, and really extend your self-compassion. It's okay. Many people share these same false beliefs. You are not alone. So the first thing is to really reflect. Really take an honest look at yourself. Sometimes it's scary, but the first thing then is to realize, hey, I am worthy of a better life. I am worthy of a better life. And maybe to get to this better life, I might have to do some things that are a little bit uncomfortable to deal with first. But on the other side is my ideal life. So again, reflect on what may have happened in your past that caused you to develop one or more of those false beliefs. And then work on it. Really work on it. When you 100% dedicate yourself to achieving your ideal life, nothing can stop you. But first, you really need to believe, I am worthy of a better life for myself. I am worthy of a better life for myself. Therefore, I'm willing to go through what might be uncomfortable. I'm willing to spend time, money, resources to overcome what is uncomfortable so I can live my ideal life. Remember, if you do not fully believe that you're worthy of it, you will sabotage yourself. So really work on the first thing first. I am worthy of a better life. And then take action. For some people, journaling is enough. For some people, reading a lot of books is enough. And for some people, talking to a counselor, therapist, NLP coach, hypnotherapist, etc. There's so many different options. So just find the one that works for you and take action to move towards your ideal life. And again, take compassion for yourself the whole time. Many people have walked this path too. You are not alone. Many people trip, but they get back up again. And finally, flip the script. So again, what is a belief? A belief is simply a thought that you tell yourself so often that it becomes a belief. So I want you to interrupt and disrupt whatever negative, false belief and replace it with a positive, real belief. So instead of I am not enough, think to yourself, I am enough. I am enough. Not because I did something, went somewhere, or became something. I am enough simply because I am. I have always been enough, and I always will be enough. So if you think about it, most children, most babies, they inherently know this. And when we first entered this planet, we probably knew this too. You don't see any baby hiding itself away and going like, oh no, I wet myself. There's food all over my face and I can't even walk. I'm not enough. A baby doesn't care. A baby doesn't care if it's got teeth missing. A baby doesn't care if there's food all over its face and its hair. It doesn't care if suddenly it gets so hungry and it wakes up its caregivers in the middle of the night. The baby thinks to itself, hey, I'm enough. Hello, wake up, take care of me, look after me. And a baby doesn't care if it's missing all its teeth, it can barely open its eyes, it will smile at you. And it's a true, genuine smile because the baby thinks, hey, I'm enough. And the baby never had to do anything to earn that. It's only later, as we become socialized, something happens in society, in school, in our household. Something happens that makes us think we are not enough, and we have to earn our enoughness. You don't. You don't. Something happened that made us feel we had to, but it's not true. And this is where children can be our best teachers. Children and babies already inherently know that they are enough. And so when we were children, when we were babies, we also knew this too. What happened along the way that disrupted this truth that we were born with? This absolute right that we were born with. Jenny says, I am. Yes, Jenny. Yes. Okay. So I wanted to give an example of somebody. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll give this example first, and then I'll relate this to, thank you so much for what you shared, Jay and Stephen. So I worked with a few clients who, because they felt like they were not enough, they also felt they were not worthy of a loving relationship. And again, if you look at these clients from the outside, it's amazing that they would think this. So, both of these clients I'm referring to, they're both like they fit like the societal standard of beauty, male, female, etc. And both of them have pretty high status jobs. And both of them are quite intelligent, but both of them really struggled getting their ideal partnership. One of them stayed single. They were too scared to go out. And another one kept landing into these relationships where they had to keep fighting for love. And what we really had to disrupt in them was, hey, you are worthy of a good romantic relationship. There was something in them from their past that blocked them from being able to attain this. Something else that's very helpful. So if a romantic relationship is something you are looking for, I would also highly recommend thinking about what your core values are. Core values, that's something in a person that changes very little as we grow. Some people it changes a lot, but for most people it stays quite consistent. So this is something that's very important to have in a partner because, it's very important to have shared values, shared core values too. If you do not have this, you might fight over every single thing. And that's very difficult to have a long-lasting ideal relationship with. Another one is really knowing who you are and who you are a good fit with. So again, continue exercising that self-reflection muscle. And yeah, so here I want to look at the comments. So Jay says, I find that most men in the group I help run have the I'm not good enough self-belief. Your presentation is excellent for giving insight into the syndrome. Oh, okay, I'm very happy to help, and I hope you can help these men that you work with, help them really believe that they are enough and get past this, syndrome. Stephen says, I would prefer vote for myself among those in competition if I think I'm better than before. Yeah, so I would prefer vote for myself among those in competition if I think I've done better. I think Stephen, let me know if I'm not understanding you, but I think you're saying, like you would choose yourself, right? And you would prioritize yourself. I think that's a wise decision, yeah. And yeah, Christina, I will share the books later. I do understand I'm running out of time, so I'll share the books later in the resources. Okay, so another one we can flip the script on is instead of believing that something is not available to you, Again, flip the script, disrupt that false belief, and really believe something is available to you. Again, you might not believe it at first, but keep saying it until it becomes natural to you. Yeah, Alicia, great comment. Another for coaches and entrepreneurs. I'm enough and deserve to get paid as a fair, energetic exchange. Yes, I really, really love that. And you'll find that, when you hit the sweet spot of the right number for yourself, you'll also attract the ideal clients for yourself too, who value your work. If you value yourself, you value your work, and your clients will value you too. So yeah, wealth is available to me. I've worked with some people who have money blocks. What happened in your past that gave you this block about money? Many people, without realizing it, they kind of have a hostile relationship with money. Money is kind of their enemy, or money is a stranger who they don't know how to interact with. What can you do in your life to make it so that you have a healthy friendship with money? And finally, if you feel like if you cannot connect because you're different, instead you can think, we're all the same. We're all human, we all have the same needs, and therefore I can connect with others. At the end of the day, we are all just human, and we all do have the same needs. The need to be seen, the need to connect, the need to feel significant and worthy. And then, of course, the need for food, oxygen, sleep, water. So I think Rajni and a couple others talked about weight issues. So I'd worked with a client who also had weight issues too, and they were struggling for years to the point where they kept gaining weight, and the last couple of years they gained weight so rapidly that it started to become dangerous. And their doctor even suggested they use Ozempic. So I don't know if you guys have heard of Ozempic yet, but it's become quite trendy, especially in Hollywood, as a way to quickly lose weight. I don't know if it's healthy, but people will use it. So this client did not want to use Ozempic. They wanted a more holistic approach. They tried everything else, and it kept not working. And so we did RTT together, and we found out that actually the extra weight was a way for this client to feel safe. So they'd been in physically unsafe positions before, and having the extra weight was like extra padding, extra armor, as a way to physically feel safe. This client too, they also found that if they lost weight, they kept getting attention, more and more attention from other people, and they felt not safe. So we were able to disrupt this thought, this pattern, and replace it with a healthier blueprint. And what really helped them was this belief, this positive, helpful belief instead of I am safe, I can be seen. It is okay for me to lose weight and show others who I truly am. Okay, so here we have about 10 minutes left. I would love to guide you guys through a guided hypnosis session and teach you guys a little bit how to hypnotize yourselves. So if you want to participate, feel free. If you don't want to participate, that's completely okay too. You can just watch. And if there's anything specific that you would like me to say in the guided hypnosis, please put it in the chat right now, and I will include it in the guided hypnosis. I will, of course, include the 3 positive beliefs as well. So I will say you are enough, what you want is available to you, and you can connect with others. Is there anything else you guys would like me to add in this guided hypnosis? You can do it. Okay, yes. Thank you, Rajni. I will add this into the guided hypnosis as well. I'm not afraid to fail. Okay, I'll put that in the positive, which is you are excited to succeed. All right, So let's start the guided hypnosis session. So you are capable of great change in yourself and in others. Beautiful. Yes, I will include that in the guided hypnosis. Okay. So one very, very easy way to enter hypnosis. So I'm going to take off my glasses so you can see my eyes quite clearly. Right now, please do not do anything, just watch me first. But what you can do is look up as high as you possibly can, as if you're looking into your own eyebrows or into a real or imagined spot overhead. And then take a deep breath in. Breathe out. So I'll guide you into doing this. And what we're doing is we're actually replicating REM, rapid eye movement. And when your brain, right before your brain enters REM sleep, dream sleep, it is actually in the same state that you're in when you're entering hypnosis. So when we're doing this, we're replicating that movement and entering the hypnotic state. So what you do next is keep your eyeballs rolled up and then close your eyelids down all the way down. And that fluttering sensation is exactly what you need to feel to enter the hypnotic state. And then from there, you can guide yourself, and I can guide you too, into walking down 10 steps in your mind's eye. And once we reach the final step, we're going to induce ourselves deeper and deeper into the hypnotic state. And then after that, give ourselves positive suggestions that bypass the critical factor of our brain and allow us to absorb these positive messages until these messages are no longer just messages, but they become who you are. They become your new blueprint of being in this world. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Again, feel free to join if you want to. If you don't want to, that's completely okay too. All right, so just putting yourself in a nice, comfortable, and relaxed position with your hands and your feet not quite touching. Allow your hands to be open. Allow your body to be in an open, receptive, and comfortable position. And allow yourself to simply be. You are exactly where you need to be. And next, whenever you're ready, just open your eyes and look up as high as you possibly can, as if you're looking into your own eyebrows or into a real or imagined spot overhead. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keeping your eyeballs rolled on up, continue to breathe in. And breathe out. And every time you blink, that is just wonderful, powerful hypnosis coming upon you. And on your next inhalation, I want you to keep looking up. And as you exhale, keep your eyeballs rolled on up as you close your eyelids down, all the way down. And as your eyelids flutter and shut down, you're feeling a burst of alpha waves as you enter the hypnotic state. You're doing an incredible job as you enter this state. And next, you can just forget all about your eyeballs and allow your eyeballs to drift and wander and go wherever they want to go. And you can allow this drifting, floating feeling to develop in and around the rest of your face. This drifting, floating feeling develops around your cheekbones. You can allow your jaw to rest and slacken and let go. You can allow your tongue to fall from the roof of your mouth. And next, I want you to allow your chin to drop too, so you really get that looking down sensation. The same sensation you get as if you're walking down 10 steps. And in your mind's eye, you can see your feet, hear your feet, and feel your feet treading each and every step. You're moving on to step 10, and you can feel your heartbeat go deeper. You're moving on to steps 9 and 8, as every sound and movement around you carries you deeper and deeper. You're moving on to step 6 as every heartbeat carries you deeper. You're moving on to step 5 and you're halfway there. Go deeper. You're moving on to step 4. You can feel your feet treading the next step. As you move on to step 3, go deeper. You're moving on to step 2 and you can feel your feet treading as you go deeper and you're almost there. And now you're on to step 1. Just go deeper, drift deeper, and sink deeper. And deeper here simply means you're going deeper into your own internal awareness. You're not falling asleep. You're waking up to your full potential. And in your full potential, you know deep in your bones, you know deep in your heart, the very absolute truth. The truth that you are enough. You were born onto this planet knowing that you are enough. Just like every baby and every child knows that they are enough, you know this too. And as you say the words, I am enough, over and over again to yourself, you're remembering, manifesting, and regenerating this blueprint, this absolute truth that you are enough. And because you are enough, you know you're worthy of the ideal life, your ideal life, where everything you want is available to you. Wealth is available to you. Relationships, healthy and fulfilling relationships are available to you. Health is available to you. Your ideal body is available to you. And connection, deep, fulfilling connections with other people and pets and yourself are all available to you. You are capable of great change in yourself and others. You're excited to succeed, and you know that you can do it. You are worthy of an ideal life for yourself because you are enough. And as you say these words, you allow them to simply sink into your skin like moisturizer on parched skin. Your mind does not care if what you say is true or false, real or not real, helpful or harmful. It simply allows the words that you say to yourself again and again and again to sink into your mind like moisturizer on parched, dry skin. And from now on, now that you are aware, now that you know better, you can do better. And better means saying the phrases, saying the thoughts, thinking the thoughts again and again, the thoughts that are helpful to you. You can do it. You are excited to succeed. You are capable of great change in yourself and others. You are worth it and you are enough. And so feeling so good, feeling transformed, you can allow yourself to come back to full awareness on the count of 3, becoming more aware of the seating beneath you. On the count of 2, becoming more aware of your breath, breathing in and breathing out. And on the count of 1, simply open your eyes and come back to full awareness. You are enough.
Boom! You made it here! Good on you. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and check out the playlist at the end. If you'd like to come along to our Sunday sessions where we host a live free Q&A for our students and members, you're welcome. I'll see you there.